Jason, how much bingo are you playing nowadays?
Yeah, none. I did that spoof with TJ a few years ago, and too many people think it was real that I spent my time at the bingo hall. So
you don't actually spend time.
I don't actually spend time at the bingo hall.
You look like a pro.
That's the sad thing, is I look too natural, didn't I, in that environment? So it was supposed to be parody, but maybe it didn't come off that way.
Yeah. Bringing up just some of your playing career with the Detroit Lions and afterwards. I mean, you played 21 years in Detroit, and you're still here in Detroit. You're from your native Washington. Why did Detroit become home for you?
Because I played here forever, right? And so there were some years I went back and forth, but the kids grew up here. And when I finished, I played so long, right? So my oldest was in high school. Not a lot of players get to say that. And so we had entrenched, and when I finished, I didn't jump right into another career. So life was happening here. And one of the great pleasures of my career was being able to play in the same area, the same team for my whole career. So unlike most guys, I had this unique connection to where I had been, so it was natural to kind of stay here in the area.
How have you maintained that connection with the Detroit Lions?
Yeah, it's been great through community events, right? As far as the football product on the field, they got their people and nobody wants an old guy hanging around. But as far as the community and being able to go out and represent the Lions, which they do a lot in the community, that's a natural fit. I love doing that. And then game day and those kind of things, it's been a lot of fun actually to connect with the fans after playing. When you're playing, I was around the fans, but you also isolate more, right? It's intense and you're doing your thing, and it's wonderful to see the pride, the city, the fans that people have in the team. And so to connect with the Lions and go do that is always fun to do.
Mm-hmm. What's been your biggest takeaway from fans now, seeing how this team has found some success as of late?
Well, I'm mostly glad for the fans, right? They deserve this. They deserve, for all the years that they have supported the team and they love the team, and so they're getting what they deserve as a really good football product. And they're responding just like you would think. They're insane, right? They're traveling all over the place. I'm on TV, you can hear them in the opposing stadiums, and that's the kind of thing that used to happen to us. And so this is wonderful, and the fans are all in, and they should be. This is a good product. There's something going on here. They got a lot to prove, but at the same time, they're rightfully on board, and I'm glad. I'm really glad for the fans.
What do you think of these Detroit Lions right now and what Dan Campbell has been able to do while you have a close seat living here in Michigan and still keeping tabs on the team?
I think it's legit, and I think that everybody senses that. It's different. They fight, and they've built something, and it's fun, and the excitement that everybody feels. You can see when something is done right. They're a competitive, good football team. It's a reflection of Dan Campbell and everybody and the players they have, and it's exciting.
Which of your teammates became one of your best friends, either during your playing days or afterwards?
The punter always was my buddy, because we hung out together, and he was the holder. So there's a whole list of John Jett I played with for a lot of years. Nick Harris I've stayed in touch with a bunch. We're great friends. And Don Muehlbach, the snapper. Right, and I had some snappers, but Don played with for a long time and loved that guy. And so I got along with all the teammates, right? I mean, obviously what I did was completely different than the team, but it never was this weird, I had my own special locker across the hall. You were there. I never pretended I was one of the guys in the way they were, but we were a team. They appreciated they went out. So it wasn't any awkwardness, but obviously I wasn't hanging out in the offensive meetings and the defensive meetings. I spent all my time with the punter and snapper, and so those were my guys, and still stay in touch with them.
21 seasons with Detroit, a couple of Pro Bowl seasons. What is your favorite year of all time that you've played here in Detroit?
Favorite year of all time? Well, that's a great question. Early in my career, the first half of my career, the first 10 years at the Silverdome, we had some successful seasons, and we had played some big games, and I have a lot of good memories of that. This is going to be really weird, but the 0-16 season was one of my better seasons. Mm-hmm. I think I missed just one and hit all my 50-yarders and such. And I know that's kind of rude to celebrate what I did, but to show up every week and execute and to hold it together and kind of do my thing, I felt good about that. But there's lots of great moments throughout my career, and more than moments or my performance, the guys I played with. Memories of making friends and the teammates is really what you remember.
Mm-hmm. I do want to make it about your moments there. I have a couple of moments. I would like you to rank them, whether or not they're actually your top moments. First option, September 1994, Atlanta in town at the Silverdome. You kick a game-winning field goal in overtime. And the word is you can't even feel your kicking leg. It was injured on a play before that.
That's true. That wasn't like a fake kicker injury. That was the real deal. I think I had kicked off at the end of the game and had to make a tackle. Mm-hmm. And somehow when I made the tackle, the guy's knee went into like a deep Charlie horse. The kind where like my leg literally froze up and was like, I can't even hardly use this. And again, I don't think that was just like being a baby kicker. That was the real deal. And so, but made it out there and then made the kick. And so that was big. And I was on crutches for a few days and then played the next week. But it was, yeah, it was real pain, I think, and made the kick.
Second option, Lions, Bills. Bills are returning your kick. You meet a Mr. Beasley at the 40-yard line. You tackle him, force a fumble, then you pick it up and you try to run with this ball. So that's your second option.
Yeah, that was pretty good. That was a preseason game, and so...
They still count.
It does count. I mean, he did flip, and I did do it, but it's also not my favorite because it's embarrassing because when I pick it up, I instantly go into the fetal position because I realized, like, I was old enough for it to click in, like, get down. If you go another step, you're dead. So it's kind of embarrassing to see what I did afterwards. So that's number 2 compared to the first one.
Okay, and then number 3, this moment against the Colts, you managed to hit both sides of the uprights. That's pretty impressive.
That's number 3. Short kick, I remember it too, and I hit it and it went bink, bink, and out. And again, it's just that terrible feeling. It was a short field goal too, and it was just like, that did not just happen. And so it might be cool to think about, afterwards, but it was like, oh my goodness. And so, yeah, that's number 3.
Okay, personally for you, what is the top moment of your career?
True story. We're playing the 49ers out at, I think it was Candlestick at that point. Mm-hmm. There's no wind in the first half, which is amazing. It's always a terrible place to kick, and I miss. We got in the second half, and I don't know what happens there with the Santa Ana winds or whatever they call it, but it's a hurricane. The goalposts are shaking, and it's like the third or fourth quarter, and they send me out for a field goal. It's like a 45-yarder, dead into the wind. I have no chance of making this. The O-line coach is screaming as I take the field, "What are we doing? He can't make this." And so I'm like, I can't believe I'm about to miss 2 kicks in the game. This is depressing. I kick it, and it goes up, and it dives in, and I look, and the ref goes that it was good. And I'm screaming, that's the greatest kick of my life. And I turn around, and all my teammates are just walking off the field because it's a 45-yarder in the NFL. You're supposed to make that. So I had this celebration of, that was the most amazing moment of my life, and nobody wanted to celebrate with me. So anyways, again, just a little anticlimactic to hear the story, but literally it's one of my best kicks ever, and I don't think there's a single person in the universe that would ever think that.
So it's a lonely world as a kicker.
That's the life of a kicker.
What's it like being the GOAT kicker for the Lions?
Football fans, but especially Detroit fans, I think that they appreciated loyalty, but also just I tried to be consistent and be a professional and try to do it. And there's lots of periods, and there's been a couple seasons where it's like thumbs down, But for the most part, I think they've appreciated someone who gave their best the entire career. And I maybe got more love than I deserve because of being in Detroit for the entire career. And there were some lean years, I keep saying that, and can't run from it. But I think that they appreciated consistency during those years and someone doing their job. I'm overwhelmed sometimes that people still are excited about what I did in football, and it's meaningful. And again, 21 years in the same place is a big part of that, and I don't take it for granted, and hopefully have a chance to use that to be part of what they're doing in the community and leverage that somehow, even though the kids have no idea who I am, right? And I show up, and if I don't have Rory by my side, whose dad is this? We wanted a football player, so I need him to be with me, but if I can put on the jersey and use that credibility with their parents, if nothing else, then that's worth it.